What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. A white pastor said that black pastors and black churches are not qualified, and they need to go and be trained by white pastors in white churches in order for them to be qualified to be pastors. The audacity of some of these people. You do know that white Christians and black Christians don't worship the same God. We don't, right? And I said we because I grew up as a Christian, even though I'm no longer Christian because I've awoken up to the truth. But all in all, a lot of our brothers and sisters are still Christian. And they, in fact, practice the true version of Christianity, the peacefulness that it's supposed to bring, the peaceful portion of Christianity, while Europeans practice the devil version of Christianity, as history will show you. And it's just, we're not the same. It's not the same thing. We're not doing the same thing. Nothing about it is the same. So without further ado, I'm going to put this video here, put some little information here so we can be clear, so we can clarify how it is that the white church and the black church are most definitely worshiping two different gods. And we're doing two different things. And of course, Christianity is still a tool of white supremacy. I mean, at the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. And you know, me personally, I would hope that black people would wake up all the way and get rid of this white religion that was used to enslave us, because currently it's still enslaving a lot of our minds. Anyway, without further ado, it's Afro Think Tank. Learn some, teach some. I'm out.
I love black people. I want them to know Christ. And currently there are not enough black men in America, Christian men, who know enough theology to be able to be qualified to pastor black churches. The black church in America needs to be split up. It needs to go and find a good, God-fearing white church with biblically qualified men so that they can hear the real gospel of Jesus Christ and come to saving faith in him.
I'm going to say this, man. White Christians and black Christians operate differently. Here's the thing with black Christians. Black Christians are always going to put the religion first. They're always going to put Christianity first over their people, over their family, over their friends, over everything.
It's made like that on purpose. The position,
it's the system. The system against us. I got it.
Okay, but the position you and your people are in.
Who is my people?
Black people. Do you claim black people?
I'm a Christian first. I claim.
Well, I think something's wrong with that. If you don't want to say you're a black man first, I think something wrong with
black
that.
Black is a construct.
Christianity comes first for them. Here's the thing with white Christian. White Christian always going to put their race first. Always. Always going to put their race. The race come first. Christianity to them is just the vehicle for them to uphold white supremacy and exercise their rights and all the stuff they want to do without any repercussion. Because the KKK was Christians. You feel me? So this is the difference, man. White supremacy, Christianity, for white people, is just white supremacy. That's all it is. It's to uphold wealth, domination, power, lies, and murder. That's it. For them, that's what it is.
How can a slave and a master both serve the same God? Then both of them expect their prayers to be answered by the very same God. How is that possible? Ephesians 6:5. Slaves, obey your earthly slave masters with respect and fear and with sincerity of the heart, just as you would obey Christ. This is exactly why I block every single person that tries to come into my lives or comment on Jesus and say Jesus is going to save my life. What you have to understand is me as a black person understands that the Bible and that religion was then used to enslave our people even more. Our ancestors were enslaved and weren't able to learn anything else besides the Bible. If they were caught reading anything else, they would actually get beaten or in trouble. They were only able to learn the English language and read the Bible. So what does that tell you? The best way to manipulate and take over a whole dynasty or civilization is to take all the knowledge that they once knew and to give them the knowledge that you want them to know.
Let me talk to him for a second. Listen.
About 90 to 95% of the black church in America is objectively, by the standards of Scripture, heretical. I love black people, and currently there are not enough black men in America, Christian men, who know enough theology to be able to be qualified to pastor black churches. The black church in America needs to be split up. It needs to go and find a good God-fearing white church with biblically qualified men so that they can hear the real gospel of Jesus Christ and come to saving faith in him.
You say that 90 to 95% of black preachers preach heresy with no proof. You didn't provide any sources, no proof, nothing, right? When you say something like that, let me help you. You're not exposing error. You're revealing fear of voices you cannot control. Hear this. If intelligence disqualifies black preachers, the data disqualifies your accusations. Listen to me. Here's a source. The National Congregation Study 2018 to 2019 says 43% of black preachers hold graduate degrees. Hear me, listen. Compared to the 41% of white evangelical lead pastors. This is what the data said. Here's some more data from the National Congregation Study. Over 67% of all U.S. lead pastors have attended theological school. Hear me. And black pastors, black pastors attended seminary at a comparable or higher rate than white pastors. You bet not say amen. I got one more stat for you, then I'm going to close this sermon. According to the Baptist World Alliance and Associated Reports, the National Baptist Convention, USA, has apparently 7.5 million members in over 30,000 congregations, making it one of the largest predominantly African-American Christian denominations in the United States. If majority of black preachers are preaching heresy, Christianity's global growth would collapse. You said you love us and you want us to be saved, but we can only do that if we're under right leadership. I mean, I can't believe he let something that foul come out of his mouth, walking around smelling like a handful of pennies. You want black gift, but not black authority. Got it. So let me close this message by giving you the title of the message. The topic of this sermon to this brother that made the video is, what is a chessboard without black spaces? A chessboard without black spaces is not unity, it is unusable. Wholeness requires contrast, not cancellation. You can't move the black spaces and still call it a board. But let's say you can erase the black. You won't get peace. What you get is a board where nothing can move. But if you're too simple-minded to understand what I'm saying, let me say it this way. Tendenism ain't never been tendenism without unk.
This is me, and yes, I used to believe that Christianity is the white man's religion. That's until I learned what the Slave Bible is. Slave Bible is called parts of the Holy Bible selected for use of the Negro slaves. So the actual Bible has over 1,100 chapters, but the Slave Bible only had 200 chapters in it. They took out all the stories that talk about liberation, freedom, justice. They most certainly made sure to take out the part of Exodus of Israel being freed from slavery. This was a Bible created by the British to manipulate slaves into thinking that slavery was justified. This Bible was used in the Caribbean. It wasn't used in America. And that doesn't matter because in America, slaves were not allowed to read and they were not allowed to own their own books. And slaveholders would just cherry pick verses out of the Bible in order to justify slavery. They would sometimes let black preachers have their own sermons, but in those sermons, they were forbidden from talking about anything regarding freedom, liberation. Everything was about obedience and obeying your master. The way they were able to cherry pick verses from the Bible is because there is slavery in the Bible, but biblical slavery and American slavery are two different things. Biblical slavery was based off of debt, poverty, or war. It wasn't something that was permanent. It was like indentured servitude, so you could work a certain amount of years and be freed. Whereas American slavery was based off of race. It was brutally violent. It stripped people of their humanity, and it locked them into slavery for life. Jesus Christ had nothing to do with slavery. Racist white people manipulated the Bible to benefit them during slavery. So please do not let that deter you from having a real relationship with Jesus Christ.
198 years. 199 years, 200. Wait, God, please, please. Now, why would you interrupt me in the middle of my favorite meal? Let me guess, you're about to pray for something. Look, I know you're probably busy doing nothing at all for mankind, but do you think you can free us from slavery now? It's been 200 years. Ooh, sorry, big dog. I ain't gonna be able to answer that prayer because it'll go against my will for you. But remember, I'll never tempt you beyond what you can bear.
Wait, are you serious? But he just turned my nephew into stew.
Oh, I'm totally aware of all the horrible things that they're doing to you, and I'm totally okay with it. But don't worry, you only got a few more years left. Hold on now, boss. Only a few more years? Well, my prayer is that you send me some niggas that'll never question religion and that you extend slavery even longer. Hey, now that's something I can get down with. You know what? I'll give you 200 more years. But remember, you got to keep up your end of the deal now. Come on now, boss. You know I got you. Now you keep praying, nigga. 201. Hey, please. 202 years. God, I know you're clearly busy doing nothing at all, but this preacher keeps taking advantage of me. Could you please deliver me from this suffering? Now, I know this may sound fucked up, and that's because it is, but I'm not going to do a single thing about this preacher taking advantage of you, even though he claims to be God-fearing. You know what? Since you're not going to do anything, I'll just go to the police. Hey, do what you got to do. Whoa, hold on now. I pray that you keep her from exposing the church like that. It's not going to look too good for the organization if this gets out. Besides, we already been on the decline since the whole baby formula incidents. Hey man, as long as you keep brainwashing the masses for me, I'll make sure your secret is safe. Besides, most religious people don't know that their churches have SA insurance.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it because it's the internet and y'all can't judge me. A lot of black people are cooned out for Christ. A lot of them sound like COONs when it comes to Jesus and their interpretation of God. And I promise you, if you let a black Christian speak for too long, they're going to say something that's either anti-black, white supremacist, or just overall insane. I once saw a creator on here say, you could tell black people used to be slaves by the way that they interact in Christianity. All the theatrics, the hooting, the hollering, the damn near begging God, like they're still slaves or something. You could tell that they used to be slaves. And they'll say stuff like, oh, Christianity was started in Ethiopia. Y'all don't practice it like they do. Y'all ain't like them. Y'all like the white enslavers that taught y'all. That's how y'all practice Christianity. And the sad part is they'll demonize anything that's black. Y'all see with sinners, oh, it was just so demonic. It was so demonic. They will have you demonizing your own culture and say shit like, oh, it's kingdom over culture. Cooned out for Christ. Cooned out.
If you brave enough, ask your pastor who started your denomination that you in. Ask them where it came from and when was it started. And if you in non-denomination, ask them when that was created as well. Y'all gonna find out that none of this stuff is in the Bible. Christ never told you to be in no denomination or no man-made religion. He always told you keep the commandments of God and the faith in him. But if you brave enough, ask your pastor, when did your denomination start and who started it?
Why do so many black people think that Christianity was forced upon them by slave masters?
I barely do it.
You guys not know that Christianity started in Africa? Like Jesus was walking through Egypt. Moses was walking through Egypt. Do you know where Egypt is? I think y'all need to pull up a map and put this into perspective. But Egypt is in Africa. Why would a slave master force Christianity upon a slave? Why would they even want them to read? You think they just gave them the Bible? Like, read this. Think about it, man.
Tighten up, because you all the way off. First off, Christianity did not start in Africa. I don't know why. Well, I know exactly why people say that. I'm finna get into that later. But Christianity originated in Asia, modern day Palestine, modern day Israel, not Africa. The reason people say this is because the earliest Bible was found in Ethiopia, and Ethiopia was the first African nation to adopt Christianity. But Pete, what I just said, it was the first African nation to adopt Christianity. It had already existed by this time. Right? Bishop named Frumentius, or however the fuck you say his name, was the guy that literally brought Christianity over to Ethiopia. Why the hell do you think that it originated in Africa? And Jesus didn't walk through Egypt as an adult. He did none of his ministry in Egypt. He did all of his ministry in Asia, not Africa. Next thing, transatlantic slave trade. Most slaves that were brought from Africa to the modern day Americas, they came from Western Africa. Guess where Ethiopia is? As you said, look on the fucking map. It's nowhere near Western Africa, right? Whatever religion Ethiopia had adopted has nothing to do with the rest of the fucking continent, bro. We're not gonna ignore how fucking huge this continent is, right? Like, why do you think the culture we brought over was demonized? Hoodoo, voodoo, our own West African religions, it was demonized when it was brought over because we were still practicing our own native religions and not Christianity. Why would they let slaves read? They didn't. Slaves literally didn't know how to read. Most slaves were illiterate, and like, are we serious, bro? When slaves were allowed to read, they were allowed to read the Bible, but a very specific version of the Bible that's notoriously known as the Slave Bible, which intentionally removed books like Exodus to prevent slaves from getting too fucking ahead of themselves and wanting to rebel in the future. Right? We need to stop this whole Christianity was already in Africa. It wasn't used to colonize our African ancestors. Yes, the fuck it was. Whatever the fuck Ethiopia had going on has nothing to do with my people. My ancestry has nothing to do with Ethiopia. It has everything to do with the Western Africa. So you need to peak game, lock in. You fell for propaganda. Stop demonizing your own people.
White Christian nationalism is not Christian. White Christian nationalism is white supremacy wrapped up in God talk. White Christian nationalism is an abomination. And you know what I want to say about that to the white Christian nationalists? Keep Jesus' name out your mouth. Just be bigoted. Just be mean. But don't do it in the name of Jesus. To follow Christ means to follow Jesus. Jesus answered the question about what it means to be Christian crystal clear. Love God with everything you have and love your neighbor as yourself. If you're ever wondering if something's Christian, you look through the lens of love. Is it loving to abuse people? Is it loving to take people out of their mother's arms? Is it loving to shoot people with guns when we disagree? Absolutely not. White Christian nationalism is not Christian. It's an abomination.
Here are two signs white Christian nationalism could be in your church. One, if the pictures and stained glass of Jesus in your church look like this, there's some work to be done. Newsflash, Jesus was not white. But white people continue and have for a long time used the image of white Jesus to maintain power and control, acting as if Jesus was some sort of supporter of white supremacy and white rule. The second way you can see if your church has white Christian nationalism is by if you have an American flag in the sanctuary. Does your church worship God or does your church worship America? What else have y'all seen in churches? Tell me in the comments.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.